The Jedi were the ultimate organic killing machines, and one of their most famous members, Durge, gained the reputation of being invincible. But what are the Jedi and who is Durge? So first things first, this is a legend subject, so it's no longer part of the actual Star Wars timeline, but it would be wrong to ignore such an interesting subject just because of that. So let's continue. The Jedi are a sentient species who were around during the early foundations of the Republic. Now, the Jedi aren't like a normal species. They don't have traditional organs, or traditional anything for that matter. No hearts, livers, or even bones. Instead, they're made up of corded muscle and highly sensitive nerves. For this reason, they're far more flexible and incredibly strong. They do have similar faces to most sentient life with eyes and teeth, however this is really where the similarities end. Due to their biological structure, they're relatively impossible to kill, limbs are regrown, and without any organs there are few exploitable weak points. The Jedi can be shredded into thousands of pieces, but over time they will regrow and come back with a vengeance. However, this can take centuries to do, but ultimately killing a Jedi is almost impossible as they will pretty much always heal themselves. The only real way of destroying a Jedi is by vaporizing it on an atomic level, leaving nothing left to heal. Thankfully for the galaxy, the Jedi are traditionally a peaceful species. However, unfortunately for the Jedi, the Sith Empire didn't care. They committed a genocide on the Jedi homeworld and killed the majority of them. Now, after this massacre, the Jedi people were incredibly rare. Now, let's talk about Durge. Durge was born almost 2,000 years before the Clone Wars, and unlike many of his people, he had a natural instinct and desire to fight and hunt. For this reason, when the opportunity presented itself, he teamed up with a Mandalorian bounty hunter, who trained him in the ways of combat, and been taught by an expert Mandalorian, he became a more than capable hunter. Eventually, Durge and his partner were approached by a doctor who made them a very tempting offer. He would enhance their bodies with cybernetics, making them even more proficient killers. Now, Durge's transformation, although incredibly tricky due to his body trying to heal constantly from the implants, encased him in a suit of armour, fully customised for a vast arsenal, targeting systems, energy shields, flamethrowers, blasters, and jetpacks, perfectly created to merge his natural strength with unnatural prowess. However, sometime after the completion of his suit, his mentor was killed by fellow Mandalorian crusaders who were inciting a war between the Sith and Jedi. Durge then fought in the Sith Wars, where he battled the likes of the Sith and Jedi. He butchered many of the galaxy's elites. No matter how many blows he took, they couldn't defeat the regenerating Jedi, especially with his new enhancements. Now, around 100 years before the Clone Wars, Durge was still an active bounty hunter, and was hired to kill the Mandalore of the time. And like nearly all of his missions, he succeeded, however it had a cost. The Mandalorian clansmen captured Durge and tortured him. These brutal acts, combined with his considerable age, even by Jedi standards, made him slowly go insane. However, he did eventually escape, but was forced underground, literally, where he took an entire century to heal his grievous wounds. Reawaking during the Clone Wars and still mostly insane from the horrific acts he endured and the brain deterioration, to his fury he found that the Mandalorian warriors had disappeared, and he felt as if he'd been cheated out of the revenge that he wished for. However, after learning that the clones were descendants of the Mandalorian warriors who had wronged him, he grew determined to spill as much clone blood as possible, and quickly became under the employ of Count Dooku and the CIS. Now, under the CIS, Durge was put in command of all manner of battles and committed unspeakable acts and genocides, including in chemical weapon tests on Naboo's Gungan population with the help of Asajj Ventress. He indiscriminately butchered countless clones and even triumphed over considerable amounts of Jedi, even forming a rivalry with General Kenobi after the Battle of Munlist. One of the few duels that Durge did lose was in a sparring match with the newly manufactured General Grievous, who managed to behead the living tank. However, Dooku stepped in to stop Grievous taking further measures to destroy him. He also made numerous attempts on young Boba Fett's life as he attempted to make a name for himself and become a rival in the bounty hunting profession. Also, the fact that he was a Mandalorian didn't help his case. Throughout the war, Durge gained a reputation for being an incredible hands-on commander who would rather be face-to-face with his enemies as opposed to orchestrating tactics from a command post far behind the front lines. Now, Durge was eventually killed for good at the hands of none other than Anakin Skywalker towards the end of the Clone Wars. In a trap meant to capture Kenobi and Skywalker, it went wrong, and after tearing Durge's helmet from his face, he was forced into an escape pod, and here Anakin, sensing he needed to stop the insane bounty hunter, used the Force to push Durge's pod into a nearby star. The extreme heat vaporized the Jedi, and he was finally destroyed once and for all. Ultimately, the Jedi had limitless potential and could almost survive anything that the galaxy threw at them, but not even they could withstand the cruelty of the Sith. And due to one of the few survivors' natural brutality, they would forever be remembered as monsters. But what do you think of Durge and the Jedi? Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If so, please remember to like and sub for more. Also, if you want to see more Legends content on the channel, as there's limitless stories out there. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at The Lore Guy for regular updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.